should be live now.
All right. Welcome back to Curse of Strahd, everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Good evening. I am your DM for tonight, Mick Holmes. Tonight we have a special giveaway that started last week and is ending right now, and I'm going to pass you off to Peter for that. Peter?
Yeah, so we have tabulated all of the entries for the giveaway for the Art and Arcana 5e. I don't know if specifically 5e. Art and Arcana D&D box set, collector's edition. And at the midway break, we are going to roll a 1D number and grab that, and then we'll notify the winner live in chat after we get back from that break. And then if they happen not be here, we will also let them know via the social media platforms and the 48 hours to let us know and claim their prize, and we'll shift off to them and hopefully get some cool pictures with them holding some cool stuff.
Yeah, that'd be awesome because it's a really cool looking book.
Yeah. I'm definitely jealous that we're giving it away and not that it's not going up to myself.
So if you guys haven't done any of our entries, follow us on social media, donate to our Extra Life campaign. You still have time to do that, to enter yourself in the draw to win.
Yeah, and follow us right here on Twitch as well. That'll get you in as well.
Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Do we have an Instagram? I think we have an Instagram.
I don't know if we have it. I did never find our Instagram, so if we do, I don't know about it.
We don't have an Instagram.
Coming.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Yep.
So last time we met, our adventurers journeyed to the Wizard of Wine's winery to learn why the deliveries of despair-fighting wine had stopped. That music is very loud for me. Give me one moment. On arrival, they found the proprietors, members of the Mardukov family, hidden amongst the trees. The crotchety patriarch Davian Mardukov told them that Strahd-worshipping druids had invaded with hundreds of needle blights spread throughout the vineyard. Fitter, a druid himself, could confirm the druids were evil creatures. Man, I'm blah. With the vineyard home to too many blights to fight, our adventurers charged through the vineyard and into the winery, with help from the ravens circling overhead. Inside the winery, they discovered the druids were poisoning the wine vats and swiftly moved to slay them. They discovered a staff made of black, spongy wood and determined it was linked to the blight monsters. While holding it, the blights wouldn't attack them, but by destroying it, the blights in the surrounding area would immediately die. Our adventurers chose the latter, clearing the winery and allowing the Mardukovs to return to their home. During that adventure, a seed of distrust grew between our party. Revan had used his bardic training to endear himself to the family, but, however, Pavu, offended at Davian Mardukov's disrespectful demeanor, assaulted and threatened him in front of his family, later secretly placing a poisoned needle in what he assumed was Davian's bed, though it turned out to be the bed of his pregnant daughter. The needle was observed by Corvus, who told the family to destroy the bed, but didn't reveal what Pavu had done. A few days ago, our adventurers received an invitation to dinner by the vampire lord, Strahd von Zarovich, in Castle Ravenloft. We rejoin our party preparing for this dinner.
It's important to note that we're being invited to dinner, not as dinner.
We think
that's my theory. I'm sticking with it.
I mean, sure, if you want to go on DM like that, sure, go ahead. But
hey, I'm a glamour bard. My reality is of my own making. So,
so you left the winery and traveled along the road to get to Vallaki. It's still quite early in the morning, so you have all day to prepare for this dinner. You arrive at the gates. It's probably 7 in the morning. What would you like to do?
Where are we now?
At the gates of Vallaki.
Okay.
First things first. If you will excuse me for a moment, I've got something that I want to do. I'll meet back up with a lot of you perhaps at the inn.
Very good.
Sure.
All right.
Reven splits off on his own.
And I will go to kind of the middle of town, and I will cast Disguise Self. I'm going to appear to be an older, dressed more like a true Valachian, but an older gentleman. Reven is clean shaven. This individual will not be. I will enhance it with my disguise kit, so that there is a double chance that even if they see through it, that it's enhanced by the actual disguise kit. And I am going to and my clothes are going to look very much like Valachi clothes, everything kind of fitting the image, and I will find a spot near the center of town, and I will begin playing and try to attract a bit of a crowd.
I assume that you're going like around behind a house or something to cast this.
Correct.
You're not just doing it in front of people.
Correct.
Into a phone booth.
Into a phone booth.
Yes.
So while Reven went off to do this, what are the rest of you about to do?
We've got a bunch of wine, don't we?
We do have a ton of wine.
All the wine.
Would you like to return to the inn and enjoy your spoils at 7 in the morning?
We've been invited to dinner, correct?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. I would like to return to the house and begin doing research. How long did that does researching that book take?
Someone's audio's coming out too much. Researching that book takes about 8 hours. I would say you definitely have enough time to investigate it right now if you'd like.
I would.
I am going to go with Pavu and research as well.
Okay. So assisting Pavu with this book?
Yes.
All right. Pavu, make me a investigation check. 19. Not bad. Give me one sec. Let's see. You find a small entry, not very long, that reads, "I was so close. She craved me, pleaded for me to stay, yet I returned to see Tatiana's blood had stained the earth before I could have it for myself. I will spare the people of Berez, but the leadership responsible will have my undivided attention. I am the land, and I will curse the river valley so they are treacherously. I will curse the river valley they so treacherously stewarded."
Okay. I will share that with Alfaba since she assisted me in the research.
Yeah, I will pop that in the Tome of Strahd handout for you guys later on.
Can you mark that's one that's known by the party? I have not shared the rest yet.
Yes, I will mark that on.
Thank you.
So that's taking you guys a good 8 hours or so. Corvus and Zeros, what are you guys up to?
Oh. So we took that big jug of wine, right?
Yes.
We had like
Okay.
3 barrels, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that Zeros and I. Do you think we should take that to the bar? Isn't that what they wanted?
We can check in with them at the very least, and I assume Fitter is with us as well, or
Yes.
is he? Okay.
Fitter is off doing fitterly things. I completely forgot to introduce you guys. We have
Hello.
we have Peter, the Goliath Barbarian, Pavu, Goliath Paladin,
We have me.
We have Pavu. We have Lindsay playing Elphaba the Sorceress. We have Katie playing Corvus the Monk, and Rip playing Zeros the Warlock. And Sean playing Reven
That one
the
guy.
Bard. I worked so hard on today. I tried really hard.
okay.
I got prepared. Eric, who plays Fitter, our gnome druid, is unavailable at this moment. He will be back in about an hour. So until then, you guys can play Toss the Gnome or something with his lifeless body until he comes to inhabit it. Corvus and Reven, Corvus and Zeros, would you like to bring the jugs to the winery? Or to the inn?
Yes.
I'm gonna calm myself. Deep breaths.
Woosah.
So, as you guys head from the house to the inn, you see a local man of Vallaki, dressed in Reven. What did you say you were dressed in?
Just like kind of motley get up, but very much Valachian in nature. An older gentleman, a little bit stoop-shouldered. Whereas Reven is handsome, this guy's very average-looking.
Okay. So you guys see this man, and he looks like he's preparing to do something. What does this man do?
Yeah, he's basically playing a tune and has like a tip jar out the whole 9 yards and just trying to attract a following. Playing on the right now probably playing on the lute, and the lute will also look a little different, so it doesn't look quite like Reven's lute. But yeah, just playing a sprightly tune, trying to attract watchers.
Okay. Can you make me a performance check?
I can indeed.
Hey, does he look familiar to you?
No, he's like pretty ugly. I don't remember him.
So he is playing a magnificent tune. It looks like he's just sort of tuning his guitar, but even that sounds beautiful. The townsfolk, they're just now waking up and going about their business. Many of them sort of stop their morning routines to at least spend a couple minutes watching this man.
And as I'm playing, I'm studying the crowd and trying to find the ones that are like the most talkative, look like they're the most socially outgoing, that are recognized by that sort of trait we've seen, that they're not affected by kind of the depression of the place, looking specifically for somebody who both is attractive looking, outgoing, kind of has the sort of traits that people would be naturally attracted to.
Okay, likes long walks on the beach.
Yeah, well, maybe more than one of them. Maybe say 3 of them.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there's a reason for this.
Okay,
Go
the Las
all
Vegas. With a 21, I would say pretty much everyone in like a 3-block radius is coming at least for a while to watch you. There would definitely be a time where there's. Are you looking specifically for women or?
It doesn't really matter as long as they're outgoing, attractive. You know, the sort of people that would get noticed by other people. That's the important trait.
Yeah, there's definitely people like that. I'd say a younger woman in a green dress, a larger, big burly man looks like Pavu except Barovian, and then maybe like an older woman who is has a flowery headdress and she's smiling and laughing.
As soon as I have their attention, I'm casting enthralling performance.
All right, go ahead.
And targeting them in specific. So they
Wisdom
will.
saves?
Let's see. Yes, wisdom save.
All right. So can you output that ability into chat? Just
Do
so I
I
can-
have that ability in chat? Yes, I think I do. Let's see. I can get it targeted. There we go.
Perfect. So yeah, the people who are listening and watching it, what is your wisdom save DC or your spell save DC?
14.
So the man is not very impressed. Well, I mean, he's impressed. He's enjoying it. But he eventually goes off on his own. But the younger woman and the older woman are both extremely fans now.
Okay.
The woman takes her headdress and throws it at you.
Oh
So
my God.
then I'm going to, as soon as I know that I've got the audience's attention, going to start singing a song. And yes, and I mean, I guess I could do this. All right.
I mean, you have taken time out of this adventure, so
So it's let's all toss one back in salute and regard to the heroes, the saints of the virtuous vanguard. Let's admire Duke Revan, the greatest of bards. He's better than you, leads the virtuous vanguard. There is stalwart Pavu, villains turn in their man card. He will run them all through for the virtuous vanguard. The Lady Elphaba leaves wicked foes all charred, if they dare to oppose the virtuous vanguard. 3 hails for good Zeros, it's no longer too hard to pay him lip service, he's a virtuous vanguard. And what of young Corvus needs no herald or lanyard, he's really quite pious and a virtuous vanguard. There's really no maybes, Fitter's short, but he's quite smart. Hope Dodge ain't got rabies, no, the virtuous vanguard. Tatiana the fair, bet she's sick of that churchyard. Her allegiance declared to the virtuous vanguard. So let's toss one more back, and Velaki give regard to our heroes, our saints of the virtuous vanguard.
The women interrupt.
Yay! So yes.
Sorry, I just realized that there's a mic delay.
Yeah, there is, but it's okay.
That's not good for singing. I'm sorry.
So yes, and you know, getting the audience involved, and so I'll repeat the chorus, etc., etc. My point here is to get them talking, to get them re-singing this, particularly the ones I've targeted.
I as special homework, I would like you to make a guitar riff.
I've got it. I've got it. I've got it.
So I can put that as the Velaki town theme.
Nice. Nice.
So you're playing your 21 performance, and your enthralling performance is just captivating everybody. People are humming. Pavu and Elphaba, while you guys spend 8 hours like studying, every once in a while you hear something out the window. The townsfolk just sort of humming like, he's really quite pious and a virtuous vanguard. And, yeah, everyone seems to be very intrigued by this strange new bard.
And
I
will, at some point in time, make my excuses to slip away, and when I do, I'll slip back into my normal persona.
Corvus and Zeros, what do you guys do when you see and hear this spectacle about yourselves, really?
I'm gonna insight check the fuck out of him.
Yeah. Can you make me a deception check, Raven?
I can definitely do a deception check.
With advantage, because you've got all the spells and disguise kits on. And since this is PvP, I will have Corvus, can you roll me an insight check? And try and beat a 27. A 25! You're close. You're almost there, but you just cannot... You're like, this is probably him, but confirmation bias means it might not be.
It's a catchy tune, though. I'll give you that.
It had a Velaki flair to it, so. Or even threw in a little bit of a Valaki accent in the mix.
Yeah, the townsfolk are enjoying it a lot. Irina, who probably went with Corvus and Zeros because I totally didn't forget she existed. She was with you, and she blushes a little bit at the Tatiana the Fair.
Why does that lady keep following us? No, I'm just kidding.
And then I'm going to go ahead, Rep. I don't
was
want
just
to
going to say, when there was a throw one back for the Virtuous Vanguard, that's part of the lyrics, right?
Yep.
Yes.
I will tell Corvus to start handing out some of the wine to the crowd, so that they can actually do that during the chorus part.
Yeah. I mean, a sizable chunk of Valaki is high class, is classy enough to not drink at 7 a.m.
But it's fancy
People that
wine.
look like they want one.
A sizable chunk of them are not. So those ones are definitely humming and singing and I don't know, drinking from the keg.
Get your lips off there.
And then I'll, at some point in time, slip away and go to the Gilded Ass, because yes, that's a thing.
Yep, Lana at the Gilded Ass is quite excited to see you. It's like, oh, Duke Reven, it's been a pleasure.
I was wondering if you could, if I could commission something from you, and if it's something that could be done perhaps before tomorrow. One, I would like to have some of my other clothes, while they're quite fine, I'd like a little bit of gilding to them. We've been invited to an important dinner party, and I don't want to disappoint.
Yes, of course.
And the other thing is, if you could stitch an emblem on it as well of a leaping fox, and I'll describe the sigil again to her.
Yes, I believe I can do that. If you don't mind, a cost of 5 gold, I'll have it to you before noon.
Aye, sounds good. And I'll give her 5 gold.
The gilding, would you like that to accentuate the ass?
Well, I've already got that, but
okay.
The collar, the sleeves, anything to sort of enhance the finery a bit.
To bring on nobility.
Indeed.
To recall nobility. Yes. The people. My business has gotten better. Hope you don't mind. I've been telling people that you shop here.
Oh, certainly. If it helps you out, of course.
Yes. I've had many, many more customers.
Excellent.
Waltzing through this door.
Excellent. Well, yeah, feel free to continue to use my name as it benefits your business, of course.
Thank you very much. I will have those for you before noon. Shall I deliver them to the cottage? To your mansion?
Yes, if you would, please.
Very good, sir.
Well, good day to you.
She goes and carries your... I assume that you're wearing other clothes.
Yeah, I would have brought other clothes with me, yes. And there was more than one set that I procured from the mansion and such, so...
Okay. Corvus and Zeros, you guys, after, the whole party, the block party, ends, you guys do notice a few small details. Some people seem to be a little bit more happy. A lot of the townsfolk that were very dour and dreary seem to have cheered up just a little bit. Not smiling, but at least they're not frowning as hard. You also notice 2 kids who have taken a stick of charcoal and they've drawn little tattoos on the side of their face in similar fashion to Duke Reven. Luckily, they did not use asbestos.
A bad influence on children.
So you guys get to the inn. Danica sort of smiles when she sees you guys. It's like, do you have good news, I hope?
We've got wine.
Excellent. The townsfolk have been hounding us ever since the coup, really.
Well, if you choose to sell this maybe a little higher price than you usually do, we wouldn't mind a bit of reparations on the work that we had to put in for it.
Yes, of course. I will ensure that you are rewarded properly. I'm sorry that Erwin's father did not. Well, he was a little shaken up, so he didn't think of a reward.
Hmm.
In any case, thank you very much. We will ensure that a steady fund comes to you and your mansion.
Appreciated.
We'll give it to your seneschal, which is me. So
I'm gonna insight check her.
yeah, I mean, she is. Revan, I assume you told everybody what you were doing with Danica. So yeah, she doesn't seem like she would skim off the top, is what your insight is saying. Granted, she doesn't need to skim off the top because she already is the seller. She already gets the profit, so it's hard.
Corvus still would have done it. Okay.
Okay. With much of the day going by quite quickly with your adventures and studying, you find yourselves back at the mansion around, I'd say, 4 in the afternoon, a few hours before sundown.
There's one other thing I want to do before the sun truly sets.
Yes.
So,
what would you like to do?
So I'm gonna, just kind of casually, leave the gates of the city, I guess, to the west. I won't go far, but I'm gonna cast Major Image, and I will invoke a vision of a vampire spawn, and I am going to engage it in battle and work the fight to the front gates, and with just as artistic as I can with my blade work, and dispatch it in front of the guards.
Yeah. I would say I would like you to make me a deception check.
Sure.
I mean, +9, but
You're so bad at those, though.
Well, I can be. It just depends on what I roll. No.
no. So at first, the guards are sort of surprised to see you fighting something, and they're like, "Is that Duke Revan? He's just fighting a dude. What's up with that?" And I assume that your major image, you're making sure that the vampire spawn is opening its mouth as much as possible.
Yes, and yeah.
And
blood, but a little bit of, like blood on kind of on the sides of the mouth.
Right. Hammer home that it's a vampire.
Yeah.
You hear one of the guards go like, "Oh no, that man has gingivitis. Revan's attacking a dentist." Or, no, that's a vampire spawn. Go Duke Revan. Should we go help him? No, just cheer. Go Duke Revan. Quick, we gotta go tell everybody about it so everyone knows.
So I will salute them after I've dispatched my foe and head back to the inn.
Duke Revan, are you hurt? Are you injured?
No, I'm well. We've got a bit of a problem here, though. We'll have to see what we can do to clean more of those up. I had heard rumor that there was one lurking about outside the walls.
Oh no. We'll keep an extra eye out for you. That looked like a pretty hard fight, though. You look like you might have gotten bit.
Oh, I'm fine, lad. I'm fine. I'd know if I were bitten.
Are you sure?
Indeed.
That sounds like the kind of thing someone who was bit would say.
No, I'm quite fine.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I get it.
And
get your garlic.
And I will head back to the inn.
To the mansion?
Or to the mansion, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. That goes well. The party reconvenes in the meeting hall, and yeah, you guys are here. Lucy and Goosey are sniffing at Pavu's hands for more food. Rusty stands at attention, and Irina sort of looks very disconcerted. She's definitely worried.
Is all well, Lady Irina?
We're about to go to the one place I said I'd never set foot.
We need to talk a bit about our plans here. This, I suspect, will be a bit of a trial for us, and I think that we perhaps should talk about our approach here.
I agree. I do not want to be caught unaware. Strahd will definitely have some tricks up his sleeve for us. And frankly, I think it is a bad idea for us to go at all.
From the sounds of things, according to Fitter and some of the other things we've heard, it seems that as long as everyone is civil, he will not act tonight. At dinner, at least.
Let's see how good I can do. Yeah, that's right. As long as you don't get mad when he calls you an inbred hick, it should be fine.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be a subtle dance.
Yeah, and I know subtlety. Subtlety is my middle name.
I think
I'm
as
dead.
I think as much.
Actually, it's Wingfield. Sorry, I interrupted you.
I think as much as we possibly can, we need to be certain that we don't overtly insult the gentleman. We don't want to give him any excuse for provocation. We should use this as an opportunity to understand what we can about the man, learn what motivates him. Are we in agreement on that?
Yes.
Know your enemy.
Precisely that.
Irina nods and says, I guess you're right. This would be a good opportunity for, I think they'd call it reconnaissance. But I want you to know that if Strahd does try and turn me into a vampire tonight, I will try and kill him.
We'll try to keep you from having any true alone time with Strahd. As a matter of fact, if you stay near us during the engagement as much as possible, that would probably give us at least opportunity to recognize if something amiss is transpiring with him and his hold over you.
Yes, of course. Well, no sense waiting along. Shall we continue?
Certainly.
Yes, we should all ride who can.
I didn't,
So
and I assumed the clothes showed up.
yes, definitely. The clothes showed up. She even added a few extra things, like a cravat for Corvus and like an extra frilly bow to go on Elphaba's butt.
I'll be sure to distribute them. And I'm gonna use prestidigitation, clean myself up, look, the very air of nobility.
Yeah, you guys probably clean up pretty nicely. I won't roll any, dress up checks. Just assume that you guys. I am assuming you're wearing your Sunday best.
Yep.
I'm wearing my armor, which I've spent a little bit of downtime burnishing to its full black luster.
You could chip away at the paint that Blinsky put on.
I'm buff.
Yeah,
I'm
no, I
buffing
mean
it all.
like touching up the edges,
Oh yeah, yes.
adding
Got some
some
good black,
contouring.
some flames.
Flames, yes. on the legs going up, so you look like Guy Fieri, the barbarian.
Yes.
Nice.
So you guys have some time. It takes about 2 hours to get from Vallaki to the gates of Ravenloft. With Tim, the horse you got from the winery, and Pavu's horse, Dunkasheen, you guys have enough horses that all of you can ride along. Are you guys bringing Rusty?
I'm a little torn on that one. Did we?
We should leave Rusty and the dogs.
I think that would
Anything
probably
that
be wise.
Could be a liability.
Good band name too.
Rusty and the dogs.
Rusty and the dogs. Where's the part token? Part token should be over here. So you leave Vallaki on horseback. Revan, you said that you wanted to... Sorry,
As we leave town, I'd like to pull one of the guards aside and instruct him to send a message to the Vistani camp. I'm going to make sure that I'm out of earshot of the entire party.
Okay.
That I would like to speak with Aragal alone at his earliest convenience.
The guards are like, we don't really go to the Vistani camp, but then he looks up at you and your passive intimidation score, he's gonna shit himself and say, and be like, yes, sir, Mr. Do you go by Sir Pavu?
Yes.
All right, Sir Pavu. Yes, sir. The rest of you see Pavu off talking to this guard, and you overhear not what Pavu said, but the guard is definitely like, "Thank you, Sir Pavu. Will do, Sir Pavu."
I will flip that guard a silver coin. And tell there's 2 guards. How many guards at the gate?
Usually 2. Yeah.
I will tell the other one when he gets off shift that I would like to speak with Ivek first thing tomorrow morning about the pay for the city garrison and having it increased.
Yes, sir. I will do that immediately after. Yes, sir, sir. Did I say
And I will
sir?
rejoin the party.
Excellent, sir. Good choice, sir. Going back to your party like a true gentle sir. Anyway, I really need to calm down. I've been really excited for this session. You guys go along the road. As you remember from the invitation, it said that you will. What did the invitation say exactly? Know that it is I who have brought you to this land, my home, and know that I alone can release you from it. I bid you dine at my castle so that we can meet in civilized surroundings. Your passage here will be a safe one. I await your arrival. And as you ride your horses through the woods, you notice that the weather is probably the fairest it's been since you arrived in Barovia. And even the animals, like, rats and possums in the trees, seem to have gone away for the time being. It's not until you reach about this point that you start noticing that there are some animals. In fact, there are wolves in the woods, but they're not prowling or stalking you. They're just sitting there, sitting like a dog, staring at you. And as you pass by, you spot 1, you spot 2, a couple dozen. Revan, you said that you wanted to discuss some tactics, I believe.
Yeah, I suppose so. So we need to talk a little bit about, I think, what we want to ask Strahd first of all. What do we want to get out of this? I'd like to first know why he brought us here. That's my first point of order. I think understanding his agenda where that's concerned will help us perhaps understand a bit more about how we potentially get out of all of this, or at least work it to our best advantage. The second thing is I'd like to know more about him as a person, like what motivates him, what makes him tick, what angers him, what pushes his buttons, so to say. I think all of that could be useful to us in some way. I'd like to probe a little bit about his motivations with regard to perhaps Irina, why perhaps he's done the things he's done.
Irina nods.
And I can perhaps, I don't know what resistances he has to these things, but if we find a compelling part of conversation where I might read his thoughts, if the lot of you, if it hasn't already been done, if the lot of you discover a moment where you'd like to learn his inner thoughts on something, you can perhaps nod at me.
Will he not feel that intrusion?
Not if I don't probe deeply.
Why? What reason would he ever want to even tell us the truth? Would he just lie the whole time? Could he just do that?
He could. He could, and I'll read it. If it succeeds, I'll be able to read his surface thoughts, so I perhaps can see beyond a bit of that facade.
How long can you do this for?
Not for long, so we'll have to pick a very strategic moment for me to do this.
And when you say figure out what pushes his buttons, are you going to say something from maybe the diary or keep that?
Oh, lad, I intend to say a whole lot of things that might evoke some interesting responses. I don't know where it'll lead, but nothing overt. I don't plan on openly insulting the man, but I do know a few things that probably would provoke him a bit without it seeming like I'm trying to provoke him.
Okay.
Maybe...
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say maybe instead of nodding, we should just have a word.
Well,
Backgammon.
Say the... I mean, you can either suggest that the surroundings, if we're not yet eating, or the food are marvelous.
Okay.
Irina
Irina
would say, so the code word is marvelous.
Precisely. Weave it into conversation in some way, commenting upon either his graciousness as a host, the surroundings, whatever seems most appropriate to the moment.
I don't know if I'll be able to compliment anything of his, but I will do my best.
Well, it doesn't even have to be about him directly. Just that the food is marvelous, or the drapes, for all I care.
What were you saying, Zeros?
What?
Weren't you going to say something?
Oh.
We cut you off?
The only other thing I was going to say is what I wanted to know was, and I think you brought it up, was if he apparently can release us, so what that entails, how to get out of here. And I don't know if he might have an answer for this, and if you even want to bring it up to him, but would you want to talk to him about the Amber Temple at all?
I absolutely want to talk to him about the Amber Temple. That was the next item on my agenda, is discussing what he knows about the Amber Temple and what his relationship with the powers that reside there might be. May be completely unconnected, but it seems strange that you'd have entities living in a place that he's claimed dominion of and he doesn't have any knowledge of it. I would be very shocked to learn that that is the case.
Yes.
Maybe they're what gave him his current state. I don't know. Maybe they're at his beck and call. We certainly should find out what their relationship to him might be.
I'm not sure if he knows how connected we may be to those entities.
I don't want to let slip any of that. I'd like to just suggest we've heard rumor of it.
Yes. Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Irina will say one last thing. When I was in Barovia, you all know this, I was bitten twice by him. I promise you that this was not engaged by me. I did not want this. He used foul charm magic to get me to say and do whatever he wanted. And he, I believe, erased my memories or changed them somehow. You should be aware that he can do this.
Hmm.
We should all
He
try
may-
and sit within 10 feet of me. I've developed an aura that will protect us somewhat from interference.
I have the ability to also counter charms, as it were. That may come in handy for us as well. But we should none of us, and I emphasize this with all sincerity, be split off in any way. We should all remain where we can observe each other. I think this is very important. If this is a vampire we're dealing with, and he employs similar charms against us, or any of his underlings for that matter, I don't know what would happen there. Perhaps we get bitten and we become infected with this curse as well, and we become thralls of his.
Irina will. You should also know that, from what I understand, the actual bite of the vampire is not the dangerous part. It's dying while being bitten. If he drains your blood, and that is what drains your last life, that is when you become a vampire spawn.
Hmm.
I wouldn't say get bitten, but a nibble wouldn't hurt.
What how much can we trust that this man's word is his bond? If he gives his word on something, would he stick to it no matter what?
That is what the rumors have said. I've heard many people say that as much of a monster he is, at least he is a monster that can be spoken to. But
We should seek for his word that we will come to no harm while we're on this night. Let's put it that way.
I agree wholeheartedly.
I'm gonna look at Fitter and just did any of your old compatriots become spawns of his?
I don't know, to be honest. And you can see that Fitter is terrified. There are tears welling in his eyes, and he is like shaking so hard that his pet raccoon is like vibrating on his back.
It's okay. I'll keep you safe.
I know. As long as you guys don't get into a fight. Yeah, just don't fight.
We're good on that point, right, Pavu?
Peace, goblin.
Okay. I don't really know how he would say it, but he would tell you that, you know, he felt safe up until that point. But he's also very uncomfortable right now, and I think I would rather go do anything else, really.
It's important that we learn what we can tonight, because while this might be his moment of strength to demonstrate his strength, we can learn something from it. And when he is at his weakest, perhaps we have something to arm ourselves with.
If you say so.
But if you want to hide in my backpack with Dodge, you can.
I will consider that, thank you.
Can we all agree also that it is tantamount that we keep an eye on the Lady Irina and make certain that she in particular, if no one else, doesn't fall to his charms?
Irina will speak up and say, that's not what I meant. I don't want you to prioritize me.
No,
Your lives are more important than my life.
I think
But I would rather die than become a spawn.
I think if I read between the lines of what we've read of this man, his obsession is like, if there is any place where his word might break a bit, I suspect it would be with you. He might seek to do things to us in some subtle way, but I don't think he'd actually cause us to come to harm.
I I hope not. Like I said, I will do everything you say. I won't cause a fight myself. But if he does try and turn me, I will try and kill him. And if I cannot kill him, I will kill myself. Even here in the mountains, the forest and the fog are inescapable. Ahead, the dirt path splits in two, widening towards the east. There you see patches of cobblestone, suggesting that the eastern branch was once an important thoroughfare. Parked at the fork in the road, pointed east, is a large black carriage drawn by two black horses. The horses snort puffs of steamy breath into the chill mountain air, and the side door of the carriage swings open silently. There is no one inside.
Is there a driver?
No. Fitter will say, "Yep, this happened last time too. We just got in, brought us to the drawbridge.
Well,
It was comfy."
well, shall we then?
I'll ride.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay on Timbo Jones here.
Pavo, do you perhaps want to ride in the driver's seat? Would that perhaps give us some warning? Should something go amiss?
I'm loath to dismount Donkashane.
Well,
Perhaps Riven could drive.
yeah, certainly.
Perhaps one of the elders, Corvus or Zeros, could drive.
Corvus, you've a keen eye. Would you mind doing so?
Sure. Sure.
Irina
We're
will,
gonna put the youngest one behind the whips here.
Irina will put her hand on your shoulder and step into the driver's seat with you as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so you guys pass through. So this zone on the map here, it's drawn so it looks like just hills and grass, but it's actually very forested. They just couldn't draw the forest because of all the hill lines. This forest is almost thicker than the other forests that you've seen in this area. The hills stretch up almost at a 45-degree angle, making it like a very, very difficult valley to climb up. And you can barely see the sky through the trees. At this point, it's getting to be about 6 o'clock and the sun is going down. And the only light you have about you is one lantern hanging on the inside of the carriage. Despite that...
Drift globe.
Oh, and the drift globe. And you guys probably have light spells. But despite the lack of sunlight, Corvus, you spot beside every single tree is a wolf sitting on its hind legs, watching you.
On its hind legs?
Well, sitting,
Oh, sitting
like,
on
like
him.
a dog.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Just
Can I
I'm
discern
assuming
anything interesting about the horses?
Sorry? Oh,
Can I discern anything interesting about the horses?
yeah. Do you want to make me a nature check, or your insight checks are giving you like these are just normal horses. They're well-trained horses and are kind of like on autopilot, but they don't need control by Corvus. Your nature is enough to know that this is kind of weird for horses, but they don't seem to be like mind-controlled or undead or anything like that.
They're not in the same category as Donkashane.
No.
Okay.
After winding through the forests and craggy mountain peaks, the road takes a sudden turn to the east, and the startling, awesome presence of Castle Ravenloft towers before you. The carriage comes to a dead stop between twin turrets of stone, broken from years of exposure. Beyond these guard towers is the precipice of a 50-foot wide, fog-filled chasm that disappears into unknown depths. A lowered drawbridge of old shored-up wooden beams stretches across the chasm between you and the archway to the courtyard. The chains of the drawbridge creak in the wind, their rust-eaten iron straining under their weight. From atop the high walls, stone gargoyles stare out at you out of their hollow eye sockets and grin hideously. A rotting wooden portcullis, green with growth, hangs above the entry tunnel. Beyond this location, the main doors of Ravenloft stand open. A rich, warm light spills from within, flooding the courtyard, and torches flutter sadly in sconces on both sides of the open doors. The carriage stops on this side of the drawbridge, and no amount of hi-yahing will make the horses go any further.
All right. Well, then, shall we?
I'm assuming we can see some of those crows.
Actually, there are no crows, no ravens. I don't know why they put them in here, but they specifically say there's no ravens in this area.
All right. I get down and help Irina down.
She thanks you for it and sort of looks over at the precipice. The drawbridge goes over and it literally goes down. The fog covers it before you can see the ground. She sort of turns to you and goes, "Who wants to cross the bridge first?"
Certainly. I'll cross. I'll go striding across completely confidently. I'll offer Irina my arm.
She'll take it nervously. I'd like you to roll me a percentile dice.
Oh, a percentile.
Yeah, or I think you can just hit roll 1d100.
Do.
66. All right. Yeah, you get across just fine. Nothing strange happens. The wind kind of picks up your jacket a little uncomfortably, but otherwise it's still like 20 feet wide. Do the rest of you follow behind?
Yep.
Yes.
I would like each of you to roll me /roll 1d100.
/roll space.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That can't
Okay.
be good.
So Pavu, you're walking along, probably the middle of the pack. Are you still
I'm
on
still on
Donkey?
Donkey. Yes.
A board breaks underneath Donkashin's foot. You teeter sideways, almost dangerously close to the edge of the drawbridge, and a massive gust of wind pushes against you, pushing you back on your horse. Donkashin gets back on his feet.
He controls the very weather, it seems. Though his housekeeping leaves something to be desired.
I should put Donkashin on here. For the time being, we'll pretend that Donkashin is in the vicinity.
Clip, clop, clip, clop, clop.
This is what you see. Thick, cold fog swirls in this courtyard. Sporadic flashes of lightning lance the weeping clouds overhead as thunder shakes the ground. Through the drizzle, you see torch flames fluttering on either side of the keep's open main doors. Warm light spills out the entrance, flooding the courtyard. High above the entrance is a round window with shards of broken glass lodged in its iron frame. For the briefest of moments, in a flash of lightning, Corvus, Revan, and Pavu, you guys spot a suit of armor patrolling the tops of the walls. It has no head.
Does the armor look at all like rusty?
No. This looks like very elegant purple armor. Very regal. It has no head, and in the next flash of lightning, it is gone. I assume you guys enter the courtyard itself?
Yep.
What's that side door? Can we see anything about that?
Which, sorry? The side
The side door?
Can you ping it?
No, on the image you showed us. There's
Oh.
a door on the right-hand side.
Oh, yes, sorry. Those are portcullises. Those would be, like, right there.
Okay.
There's one on either side.
Okay.
The walls of the castle extend to the walls of the keep, with little portcullis gates between them.
Okay.
The ornate outer doors of the castle hang open, flanked by fluttering torches and iron sconces, and 20 feet inside the castle is a second set of doors. Where would you guys like to go?
And I'm going to be, as we go along, idly, just completely exuding as much confidence in my voice as I can, talking about, how the architecture compares with that on the Moonshay Isles, and basically instilling as much confidence as I can to particularly to Irina, but maybe to Fitter and anyone else that looks nervous as well, and anybody who happens to be listening in, I'm going to appear confident.
Okay. I'd like you to make me a deception check again.
Yep.
Assuming you have, Reven could have balls of steel, but I assume there is some worry.
Yes, there's more worry than he's probably showing, but
You might stumble on a single word, but for 99% of the time, you exude a perfect confidence, a Pavu-like physique.
I'm just doing breathing exercises.
So, do you guys want to go to the front entrance?
Yep.
Or okay.
I will leave Dr. Shane outside and tell him to wait for my call.
To what? Sorry, wait.
Good.
For what?
I will leave Dr. Shane outside and instruct him to wait for my call, but be ready.
Donkashin whinnies and nods.
Quick question, Mick.
Yes.
Did we see, remind me again, because my memory apparently is a little bit cloudy on this point. Does Strahd have an official title? Is he Count?
He is Count.
Okay.
Yes. Overhead in the vaulted entry foyer, 4 statues of dragons glare down, their eyes flickering in the torchlight. As you look up at them, the doors in front of you suddenly swing open, revealing a grand hall filled with the sound of organ music.
It's like a ghost concert.
Do you continue along?
Yep.
Stride forward?
I will stride forward.
Cobwebs stretch between columns that support the vaulted ceiling of a great dusty hall, dimly lit by sputtering torches and iron sconces. The torches cast odd shadows across the faces of 8 stone gargoyles squatting motionlessly on the edge of the domed ceiling. Cracked and fading ceiling frescoes are covered by decay. Double bronze doors stand closed to the east. To the north, a wide staircase climbs into darkness. A lit hallway to the south contains another set of bronze doors, through which you hear the sad and majestic organ tones. An elf with brown skin and long black hair descends the wide staircase, quiet as a cat. He wears a gray cloak over black studded leather armor and has a polished scimitar hanging from his belt. "My master is expecting you," he says. "My name is Rahaden. I am the Chamberlain of Castle Ravenloft." His token didn't appear. Give me one sec. There we go. Oh,
But I use divine sense.
Someone's music is reverbing. I don't know who it is, but if anyone's playing sound on not headphones, maybe turn down your music a bit.
Better?
I think
Anyone. The only people that
so. Oh,
aren't on
yeah,
it.
sorry. I wasn't looking at the webcams.
Is that better?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says, "I am the Chamberlain of Castle Ravenloft." And he looks at you, Duke Reven.
Pleasure to meet you, Rahaden. Please, if we may.
"May I take your cloaks or weapons?"
No.
No.
I'll give him my cloak.
Keep in mind, it is your cloak of +1 deception.
Oh, that's true. Yes. No, I won't give him that cloak. I was thinking like a traveling overcloak, but
Yeah, you reveal your traveling cloak for another cloak.
yeah.
Your indoor cloak. He says, "Very well. Please, come this way." And as he passes you guys, you start to hear not screams, but the memories of screams swirling around Rahadan like a cologne.
Did you catch my divine sense use?
Yes, sorry. Divine sense. He is completely normal. This whole area is definitely undead magic permeating everything. With that said, you don't detect any more undead on him.
Is this desecrated ground or just
Not desecrated, but definitely evil.
okay?
So Rahadan, you're the first of the people that I've seen here. Are there more of? Are there more of? I would say ours, but are there more of the people here?
Do you refer to elves?
I do. Aye.
There was once a tribe of elves. Strahd dealt with them.
Are you the last?
Please, I am not the last, but it is not my place to discuss. Please, enter. And he opens up the door into a room. 3 enormous chandeliers brilliantly illuminate this magnificent chamber. Pillars of stone stand against dull white marble walls, rising beyond your vision, blocked by the light. In the center of the room, a long, heavy table is covered with a fine white satin cloth. The table laden with many delectable foods: roast beasts based in a savory sauce, roots and herbs of every taste, and sweet fruits and vegetables. Places are set for each of you with delicate china and silver. At each place is a delicate crystal goblet. 3 women and 1 man, all dressed nobly, stand beside their seats. At the center of the far west wall, between floor-to-ceiling mirrors, stands a massive organ. Its pipes blare out a thunderous melody that speaks in its tone of greatness and despair. Seated at the organ, facing away from you, a single caped figure pounds the keys in raptured ecstasy. The figure stops, and as a deep silence falls over the dining hall, it slowly turns to you. Rahadan speaks, announcing Duke Revan and Talas of the Moonshay Isles and his attendants, Sir Rothnir, Sir Moonfall, Sir Black, Lady Elphaba, Sir Fitterstein, also announcing the Lady Irina Kolyana.
I will bow regally.
Sorry, give me one sec. Strahd will speak in just a moment. Do you guys mind if we take a quick 5-minute break?
Not at all.
Vibe it up.
All right.
Sure.
I will be right back.
All right. We are alive again, and I'm eagerly awaiting the reveal here.
It's overhyped already. So tell me when we're on.
We're on. We're on.
We're on?
Yeah.
So, Strahd, Count Strahd, turns to you.
I love it. I love
Good
it.
evening. It is a pleasure to finally make your acquaintance. I am Count Strahd von Zarovich, son of the late King Borov and ruler of Barovia. Please, let me introduce my other guests. And he points to the other men and women at the table. In red is my beautiful Anastasia Karlova. The woman in the crimson dress bows her head with the grace of a dancer and smiles seductively, making distinct eye contact with Zeros. Corvus and Pavu, you notice a momentary lapse in her smile as her eyes pass over Irina. In white is my brilliant Ludmila Vilisevic. The dark-skinned woman sits regally, tilting her head to you and giving but the slightest of nods before sipping her wine. Across from her, my trusted confidant, Escher. The man nods his head and smiles politely, baring some very sharp teeth. And in gold, my youthful Volenta Popovsky. The young woman in a platinum mask, resembling a skull, smiles pleasantly and nods her head, but without seeing her eyes, you can't make out any of her emotions. I will ask of you your own introductions in a moment, but first, please, sit down and make yourselves comfortable.
My thanks for your hospitality, Count.
Divine sense, all of them are undead. Not only that, but looking up, you see on the ceiling there are 8 more vampires hiding away. Now, as an aside, it is like 900 degrees in here, so I'm going to take this out. This is a pillowcase that I clipped together. And my wine glass is a Tupperware that I repurposed because I have no actual glasses.
It's amazing.
Oh.
Reven somehow got access to a goblet already.
Pavu will unsurreptitiously point at all 8 of the vampires on the ceiling and say, "What about the rest of your guests?"
Those are my servants. They will be serving us this evening.
Awkward.
Rahadan guides you each to your seats. Each seat is marked with an elegantly engraved steel nameplate on the back of each chair. Above your names, you see other names scratched out, mostly illegible, though you can make out the most recent guests. Ulrich von Trask, Metzger, Bulfin, and Tavisa Gentleglade.
Is Fitter's old chair there?
Fitter's chair is there, and his is not scratched out.
Oh.
Poor Fitter.
I'm smiling warmly, and when I see this, I'll smile kind of wryly at the Count, and yeah.
Rahadan bows and excuses himself. And Strahd says to each of you, "Please, help yourself to this meal. You'll find it a cut above the usual fare of Barovia. We have the finest Barovian wines, aged dwarven ales from afar, a magnificent moonshay spiced rum, and an exquisite Vildon hot cider." He snaps his fingers, and from the ceiling, the other men and women that you saw before walk down the walls carrying trays, glasses, and casks. Just merely ask them for whatever you'd like. Emmerich, I'll have the 1205 Kreskite, please. Now, forgive my rudeness. Duke Antalas, I presume?
Indeed, and I've prepared a bit of a welcoming song, if I might. it's a tradition among my people. If we, as a gesture of hospitality and welcoming of hospitality, if I could possibly spare a moment and be so honored as to present this to you as a bit of my gift.
Of course, I am very honored. I did not know there was such practices in Moonshay Isles.
Indeed, we're quite a hospitality-centered culture, and I will play and I will sing along with it, and weaving in equal parts the common tongue and Elvish. And I am going to cast Enthralling Presence, and I am going to specifically target Count Strahd von Zarvich, of course,
Okay.
Irina, and I will pick. He said his trusted advisor was the guy.
His trusted confidant, yes.
I will pick him.
All right. So let me roll some wisdom saves.
Fail.
What was your song gonna be?
I actually am going to use it's going to be a blend of a song of hospitality that the bards of the folk, which is the human culture, would have used, but also blending in an elvish song of welcome to diplomats, to visitors, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be genuinely that. All of the language will be focused around being thankful of hospitality, having common purpose, that sort of thing.
Can you tell me what you sense in terms of who's succeeded and who's failed? Like, does it say anywhere in the ability?
I don't think so, but let's take a look.
While he's looking for that, do we recognize any of the vampire spawn? Have we met any of them before?
No. Fitter looks around and he actually has a moment of relaxation because he was worried that he might recognize some of them.
Okay.
So each target glows. So they have no hint that you tried to charm it, but otherwise.
Correct.
Okay. So Irina just barely saves.
Ah,
'Cause I think your DC is 14.
yes.
Escher, as you sing this song, he looks enraptured. He sort of puts his hand on his chin. He's just staring intently at your eyes. Though Corvus, your perception is enough to know that he's not looking at Reven's eyes. He's looking at Reven's mouth. Strahd, however, you get a sense that Strahd's eyes are watching you intently. And for just the fraction of a moment, you see that charmed look in his eyes before he blinks. And the spell shatters on him.
First move.
That was quite entrancing. Escher claps when you're done. It's like, very, very magnificent. I've never heard such wonderful. Was that Elvish? I've never heard something so beautiful.
Indeed, it is. It's the language of my mother's family. The Llewellyn elves of the Moonshay Isles.
Llewellyn.
Llewellyn.
Yes. Llewellyn Lulu. Yes. I've heard much of them. Next to you, the woman, she's tall and has darker skin. She's wearing a white wedding dress, and you notice that all of the women are wearing wedding dresses. Her dress is white, and she has a golden sort of crown tiara. She doesn't respond to your song. She just sort of stares straight ahead, sipping at her wine. Anastasia, the woman in red, smiles and is your song like clappable, clap along to-able?
I was thinking it's probably more sort of almost sounding like a lullaby.
Okay.
If you have you seen oh hell no, what's the name of the stupid movie with Bette Midler and there were the witches?
Hocus
Focus.
Yeah, Hocus
Hocus
Pocus.
Pocus?
You remember the song that Jessica Parker sang?
Come to me.
Yes, it's kind of like that. It's very haunting, very sort of
Nailed it.
yeah.
I do not remember that song myself. I only remember when they sang what is it?
Come
The
on,
voodoo-
you children, I'll take thee away
So
into
Anastasia, sorry.
Yeah.
Anastasia's she's smiling and she's swaying along to the music. She sort of bumps elbows with Corvus and Zeros next to her, expecting you to sway along to the music as well. Valenta, wearing the it is a platinum mask that covers her face and golden dress, flowy dress. She smiles and will whisper to Pavu next to her and says, "His voice is beautiful." And Escher, of course, and Escher, of course, is fully enthralled.
Careful when you
As
go
he
to the
performed,
bathroom later.
held it off and set it on the table.
Sorry, I couldn't hear what you said. Say that again.
As he performs, I'm going to take my helmet off and set it on the table.
Valenta next to you will say, oh, "Is that a wolf head? That's beautiful. Also, I quite like your long swords. They look
Yes.
they look like they would do more damage to meats if you were serrating them. If you had them serrated."
Interesting. I'll consider it. I've showed you mine. Will you show me yours?
Hmm.
And I'll gesture the mask.
No, unfortunately, it is stapled to me.
Wow.
Hot.
Your insight check can tell that she's lying, but
Perhaps another time then.
perhaps, maybe after dinner. It should be noted that Valenta looks like she is like on the cusp of 18. There are websites dedicated to this.
Yeah, but she's really 300, so it's fine.
Granted, yes. Duke and Talas, says Strahd. I apologize, but I do not know too much of you and your compatriots. Could you introduce me to your friends?
Aye, this is the captain of my guard, Captain Sir Pavu von Waldex von Rothnir.
You are the Pavu. I have heard of your exploits. Emmerich, could you pour me another glass of yes? Oh, excellent.
Epic.
Is that the 1205 vintage still?
yes.
And this is the fair Lady Elphaba.
Ah, Ofaba. I've heard of your pyroclastic magic talent. Perhaps one day we could have a conversation of magic. There are a few other spellcasters here that I could talk to.
That sounds intriguing. Don't.
This,
Oh, I just realized something. I intended to put Reven on the right hand of Strahd, but then I realized that I was doing it the wrong right hand. Like I was looking sideways to the right.
Gotcha.
So imagine that this is mirrored.
Okay, fair enough.
Or imagine that in Dungeons and Dragons, it's the left hand that matters. Strahd is left
It's
hand.
your left hand, man.
Strahd is left hand. Sorry. Please continue.
This is the capable Corvus.
Corvus. Corvus Black, I presume. Must admit, I haven't heard too much of you.
Probably not the worst thing.
I've only heard good things. Unfortunately, I haven't heard anything.
This is
This isn't supposed to be funny! I am sorry. Please, forgive my interruptions. Duke Revan, continue.
this is the good Zeros.
Zeros, must admit, I've heard stories of your magic as well. It's quite intriguing, summoning weapons out of thin air, curses and hexes of all sorts. Pray tell, how did you come by these powers?
It was an innate ability that just manifested itself, and I'm still learning the ins and outs. But yeah.
So Zeros and Corvus, and Fitter, but he's not here. You guys notice that Strahd is looking at you very intently as you say this, and you get the feeling that you did not succeed your deception check. In fact, you didn't even make one.
Yeah, and by the way, throughout this, I am watching Strahd like a hawk. Every expression that crosses his face, everything. I'm going to not be quite so obvious about it, but that is my primary focus.
Okay. He's looking intently, and you could definitely, I'll say with advantage, since you're looking directly at him, he does seem to raise an eyebrow at Zeros. And you just see the wheels turning in his mind. Perhaps there is some kind of magic that he has that's telling him secrets about you.
But I don't notice this. Riven does.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, no, you noticed this too.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
okay.
did notice this. Yeah, it was you, Corvus, and Fitter. And Revan, because you got advantage.
Okay.
I'd like to call for wine.
One of the vampires comes down and says, "What kind of wine would you like, sir?"
Whatever Strahd is drinking. I will
That's
intentionally omit the honorific.
Strahd will laugh and say, "That is not for the living."
Would it violate your safe passage for me to drink it?
No, but it might violate your bowels.
Catherine violated her nose.
What? I wanted this to be dramatic. I'm sorry.
Can I recall the name of the premium vintage at the winery?
Yes, Red Dragon Crush. Suggest that?
I guess I'll have to settle for Red Dragon Crush then.
Yes, we have an excellent vintage. And he pours you a glass in your goblet. It is.
I'm gonna reach up and take the bottle from him.
He doesn't seem to really mind. And you start noticing that he's doesn't seem to have much personality at all. But Strahd smiles. Just good vintage.
Question, Mick. Was
Yeah.
Red Dragon the one that we were told the gem that was taken away? Was that the one?
Yes.
So, I believe you've already been introduced, but may I present also Fitter?
Yes. Fitterstain, I believe. I will ask you some questions when you are more talkative. Basically, I'm going to hold off on the conversation with Fitter until Eric is actually here.
Eric.
And then this is This is my lady Irina.
Miss Kolyana, we've met.
And I'm studying him very closely.
He looks at her unlike he looks at anybody else. The look on his eyes is almost a look of trying too hard to avoid love, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Lady Irina, I heard you have departed your dear brother, Ismark. It must have been a very difficult decision. I hope you haven't any regrets. And Irina just stony faced. She's been stony faced this whole time. She's just like, I do not. Ah, well, let's hope that sentiment lasts. You look just as ravishing as the night we met. And Irina just doesn't say anything. She just... Of course, you guys have all noticed that she is being placed at the very end of the table. Revan, you might not notice this since you're focusing on Strahd, but the rest of you might notice that Strahd's brides and Escher don't want to look at Irina. They kind of float around her when they look in that direction. So, Duke Revan,
Hi.
may I inquire, how have you found the Valley of Barovia so far? Is it to your liking?
It's intriguing. I'll give you that much. How do you find the countryside? It's, shall we say, a bit untamed.
I would say it's beautiful. I came here long ago and, well, I found this valley. I was so struck by its scenic beauty that I decided to settle here. And I raised Castle Ravenloft.
From whence do you originate?
Places long far from here. They no longer exist, I believe.
A shame.
You see, after the death of my father, King Barov, I waged a long, bloody war against my family's enemies. With my armies, I cornered the last of them in a remote mountain valley before slaying them all. I named the valley Barovia after my late father.
Intriguing.
But please do not let me speak only of myself.
No,
May I ask where you hail from?
It's intriguing. I hail from the Moonshae Isles, as you well know.
Yes.
My father was a diplomat for Queen Alicia Kendrick, and my mother was a lady of the Elven court from the Moonshae Isles. My father unfortunately met with an untimely end, and I was raised by the elves.
So, forgive me for being presumptuous. What duchy do you rule?
It's a bit of an honorific. The elves don't exactly recognize duchies per se. My father was a queen's man, as it were, so he was in fact a landed noble. But the elves themselves, my lady was in a position. My lady mother was in a position with the court. So yes, the name is a bit of an honorific, but.
Well, now I imagine it is well deserved. I have heard that you have ousted the Valakovich family from Vallaki. I am impressed and indeed thankful. Vargas Valakovich and his henchmen were menaces. Perhaps this makes you an official member of my court.
So it would appear.
We will have to have a coronation, branding you true burgomaster of Vallaki. May I ask, do you think this is a better outcome for the people of Vallaki? How say you, Elphaba? And he turns to Elphaba sort of suddenly.
Sorry. Alphaba is taken by surprise. And Yes, I think the outcome is great for the Valaki people.
I'll smile
Yes.
charmingly at Elphab at that.
Yes, well, it would be very difficult for you to be worse than the previous rulers. However, I must say I am disappointed in how you dealt with the Lady Wachter. I have known her since she was a child, and she could have been a brilliant ally to you.
Hmm.
He kind of, as he says this, looks over at Pavu, and is kind of like side-eyeing you a little.
Ooh.
Which
I'll just
smirk on his face.
mutter, she talks too much.
It's subtle.
Reven, I believe.
Not my strong suit.
I love it. Actually, it was pretty subtle. I like it.
Valenta is going to giggle in a napkin, politely. Strahd says, "Reven, may I call you Reven?"
Of course.
Certainly, you won't be leading the town yourself. I believe you have other tasks that you are working on right now. How do you plan to rule without being in town?
I have people in my employ that can inform me of the things that I need to be informed of, and while I'm, of course, in town, I will take my best effort to make certain that the town is well kept.
Well, if there's anything I can do to assist you, perhaps you should tell me the names of who is helping you. And as he does this, he is looking at you in a very peculiar way. In a very, you should make a wisdom save way.
+2.
Yeah, you... How big is this table? He's 15 feet away.
I totally measured that from here.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. You
I lean
over a
across
little
the
bit.
table.
Yeah, wisdom save with +2.
Come on.
Oh, gee. Didn't help.
So, your mind,
11.
Oops.
as much as trained in charms that you are, your mind does picture Danica for just a moment. And
Oh, it was nice knowing you, Danica.
Strahd just says, sorry.
I was just going to ask, is Riven half-elf?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true. If it was a charm, I'm at advantage.
Give me 1 sec.
Thank
What
you,
spell
Rev.
is this?
23 is way better than 11.
It is a little bit better. Let's see. When you cast this, nothing about it says it's a charm spell.
So close.
He just sort of nods and says, "Well, I hope that your rule is a long and fruitful one.
And yours as
I
well.
wonder where the exiled Velikovich found himself."
The exile. I'm drawing a blank as a player.
Velikovich was you, exiled Vargas Velikovich.
Oh, Vargas. Yes.
Yes.
That's a good question.
Anastasia, seeing that, most of you aren't being included in this conversation, she's going to sort of turn to Zeros and be like, "Oh, Mr. Zeros, you have such striking green eyes. May I ask where you hail from?"
I come from a small village, Ainville.
Oh.
It only has a population of 110. And I don't come from any prominent families or anything.
Well, I believe Barovia Village has only 110 now. It used to have more. I must admit I don't hear much of the outside world. We spend most of our time, I wouldn't say trapped in a hellscape, but I would imply it.
Where are you from?
Oh, I was born here. I was Valachian. I would say 200 years ago.
So just a little older than me.
Just a little, I imagine. I used to throw the most magnificent parties in honor of Count Strahd. That's what got him to notice me. I am sad that I wasn't able to be the hostess of this party, but Strahd thought it would be. And Strahd says, Anastasia, could you pass me the potatoes? And she goes, yes, my love. Ludmilla doesn't say anything. She just continues to sip her wine and push vegetables around her plate. I guess I should ask you guys, are you guys eating?
Bob
I
is
am.
eating.
Yeah, I will eat.
This is magnificent food. Like, this is... It's like if someone cast prestidigitation to make it tastier as a 9th level spell. This is magnificent food.
Wow.
This is Corvus pie level of food.
I will.
However,
We're eating.
Throwing food on my face.
Corvus, you do not detect any hints of
Children.
children.
Push
It's-
the plate
Damn it.
away. Just kidding.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like Diet Coke, really.
Love
Not-
type.
I love children, but I could never eat a whole bushel. Um, so Strahd, continues talking to you, Revan. Small talk. Is there anything you'd like to? Any topics you'd bring up at the end of a string?
Hi. So tell me a bit about your family. Do you have? You mentioned your father. Do you have other family?
My mother. She died long ago. Natural death. Since then, no. I must admit, I should admit to you that I am a vampire. If you haven't guessed,
Oh,
No.
I.
sort of swigs the surprisingly red wine. But and the fact that this is like the hallway around us is mirrored and you see no reflections. He's like,
Glass floating.
as a
in the air.
vampire, I cannot sire a child, and I've outlived my family.
Did you have progeny before you were turned?
No, I did not have time with my conquering.
Any
Sorry.
any
go ahead.
siblings?
I had a brother once.
Oh, hi.
Again, he is not with us. His name was Sergei von Zarovich, a spectacular warrior. But
I'm reading him very closely.
you don't really detect anything that says like he's embarrassed about his family or
Any emotion that looks like crossing his face at all?
fond memories. He's thinking about Sergei, and you can sense that he didn't really like Sergei. But other than that, you don't get any like massive brother-hating vibes. Despite the Tome of Strahd. Despite what you guys know. For the viewers out there who might not have seen that, you guys found a book that told how Strahd killed his brother. I forget the exact details. But
They were fighting over the bathroom.
yes. It was the nice one. How have you, Sir Revan?
No, I have a. Of course, my mother is still living. I have a sister. Family is important.
Yes, perhaps one day you could invite them to your homestead, Valaki.
Perhaps so. It's a bit of a distance, and if, of course, you might allow us to eventually leave this place. I don't know what. Forgive my ignorance. I don't. And we haven't really formally discussed it. You mentioned that we were here at your invitation. be very interested in entertaining a notion of what you might have in mind. What plans do you have? What can we help you with?
Very eloquently put, my friend. To be honest, that is the million gold question, is it not? Why did I bring you here? I am scrolling through the notes that I made. When
If I can at all do this and think that I am not being noticed, I am going to cast Detect Thoughts.
Yeah, for sure.
Before we do this, Eric is ready to come online.
Oh, cool.
Oh yes, have him call in.
Yeah, let's take a quick 5-minute break.
Okay, yeah.
Get Eric written up. I want to get another drink.
Yep.
I'll be back in a sec.
All right, we'll be right back, guys. All right, we are back.
All right, welcome back, and please welcome our gnome druid Fitter.
He's a goblin.
Yay.
Possible goblin. So getting some Fitter reactions. Fitter, as you crossed the drawbridge for the first time, the horse
For
that
the first time, for the second time.
for the second time, yes, for the first time for everyone else, Donkashane cracked through one of the boards of the drawbridge, but a very strong wind pushed him back. Is there anything Fitter would feel at that? This is new to him.
Broke through the.
Like stepped through the drawbridge, almost fell off the edge of the drawbridge into the depths below.
Huh. And then, but a strong wind.
Pushed him back up.
Yeah, that's very. Yeah. I don't know what Fitter would think of that. He would be probably, very shocked.
I imagine everything is just Fitter being kind of terrified and
Yeah. Well, yeah. The players would notice that Fitter, who's typically, and of course I don't do this in the stream just because we're all trying to listen and talk, but Fitter is typically a very happy gnome, which is kind of strange just in this atmosphere, and fairly talkative. But this morning, knowing he was going to the dinner, he's been very quiet, unusually so, and seemingly nervous, where he kind of starts at every thing. He's increasingly so the closer he gets to the castle as well. So, peering over his shoulder and looking.
So when you got to the castle, you met Rahadin, the Chamberlain, who was the Chamberlain last time you were here. You would remember the first time that surrounding him, I described it as like a cologne. It wasn't screams, but the memories of screams wafting around him. You remember those screams, and you recognized 5 of those screams. Or 4 of those screams. A number of those screams.
Yes.
And then, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Fitter would definitely just kind of look down and probably whimper a little bit. Yeah, like dodge. So.
And when you were guided into the dinner table, you noticed that on the backs of each chair were nameplates, including yours and the names of all of your compatriots. I have them written down. I don't know where I put them down.
Ulrich, Metzger, Bullfin, or Bull, and Tavisa.
Yes.
Yeah,
I had them as the most sort of their full names, Ulrich von Trask and Tavisa Gentleglade. Tavisa.
Yeah, and Fitter would kind of, as he sees them, would kind of almost caress the nameplate of where the name was.
Unfortunately, the person sitting in Tavisa's chair is Pavu.
Well, I'll still do that as I go behind the chair. Not Chris Pavu, but Chris the name.
Yeah.
By the way,
The,
throughout this, Mick, Reven is going to be, as soon as he gets done eating, is going to be, sitting kind of idly strumming his lute. Maybe as he talks, kind of emphasizing certain choices of words with song, with like just musical accompaniment. This is not completely uncommon for Reven to do in general when he's seated at a table, but
okay. So yeah, Fitter, I don't know if that helps calm you at all, that Reven is strumming along. The last thing I want to do before we get back to the time present is when Revan introduced you, Strahd said some things. Give me one moment.
Oh no.
Some things were said.
Reset.
Yes, Fitter. Mr. Fitterstain, I remember you. I trust the woods have been kind to you these past few years.
Yes, Lord Strahd. I've kept my head down.
Please. We're friends here. Call me Count Strahd.
Oh,
Ow.
yes, Lord Count. I've kept my head down, and the bad druids they've left me alone for the most part. But
Those
yes,
bad druids are old friends of mine. I apologize if they've caused you issues. I trust your skills in druidic magic have improved since we last met. I've always had respect for druidic practices.
they have. I don't like the sorry, my voice is kind of rough tonight. I am sorry. The corruption though. I don't like it. I've been trying to fight it.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you have been keeping yourself busy. And a challenge is always respected. I'm going to take this cravat off because it is a million degrees. Like I said before, it is literally a pillowcase tied together with a hairnet and alligator clips.
Hey.
And my wine goblet is a Tupperware. I was saying during the break that this is perfect because I could fill this up with wine, keep it underneath my chair, and just have and then just good to see you, Duke Revan. How have you been? So when we left off for the last break, Duke Revan, you asked Strahd, why are we here?
Mhm.
And Strahd was like,
And I'm trying to detect thoughts.
yes. So can you cast Detect Thoughts so I can quickly see?
Yes. Let me make sure that.
Wall of
I think it. Unless I
You don't think our
probe
version-
deeply, he can't detect it.
Right. It does have a verbal and somatic component.
Yes,
So you
but
have
that's
to-
why I'm playing. So
You're playing your lute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably singing something pretending it's Elvish
Yep.
when it's actually magic.
Yep.
He he doesn't have to make a will save yet. Wisdom save yet until you probe deeper.
Yep. I'm just
he
reading
says-
surface thoughts.
Well, when I first heard of you and your acquaintances, save for Fitter here, you were languishing away in a drow prison. The stories I were told, I was very intrigued. I thought for certain that life in Barovia would much exceed life in capacity underground. But your detect thoughts, you detect two major thoughts. One is the awareness that you cast detect thoughts on him.
Oh.
The other thing
Wow.
is true reason is actually it's because you entertain me. As an entertaining yourself, you must see the value and honor in such things. But you only get that almost telepathically put into your mind.
Like he's giving me that specific message.
Yes.
I will smile very wryly at him.
I had hoped, and he says this to everybody, I'd hoped that Barovia could become your home. After all, again, it beats Drow Prison, I would hope. Perhaps one day you will come to enjoy it as much as I do.
I very much intend for this to become my home.
Excellent. And Duke Revan, you have impressed me so far. Perhaps one day you will be Count.
Well, that's an interesting point, Count. If I may ask, what sort of legacy do you intend to leave? What would you like for your legacy to be?
Well, I am a vampire. I do not die. My legacy will never come to pass. I will always be here.
Well, with your living presence, what are unliving, as the case may be, if you'll excuse my turn of phrase, um, what would you like for your story to be? What would you like for the people to think of you? What would you like your stamp on this land to be?
That is interesting. I have not really thought much of legacies and stories and histories. It won't be me writing these histories, so it depends on whoever writes them. I imagine whatever is written will not be kind.
Does that trouble you?
Not really. I am what I am. There was a town in Barovia named Berez on the shores of the Luna River. There I first met a peasant woman, Marna. She loved me, and she was going to be my bride, but before she could come away with me, the burgomaster and the priest of the town killed her. I slew the priest and burgomaster, of course, and I caused the Luna River to swell, flooding the rest of the city. There was once a race of elves living in these woods. There, too, I met a woman, Patrina. Her brother Casimir got their tribe to stone her to death, rather than allow her to love me. As punishment, I mutilated Casimir and put all female dusk elves to death. The elves are a long-lived race, and a few of them still live. I doubt they will forget that. If you're asking me more personally, what histories you would write for me, I would remind you that every vampire you fight, every ghost in the March of the Dead, are your fallen brethren, souls trapped here. I've corrupted the Angel of the Morning Lord. I've defeated an order of dragons. I didn't even need to raise a finger against your friend Delvin, but still, you are found wanting. I guess my legacy is this. I am the land.
Well
But
said.
let us speak more pleasant topics.
Can I ask you one other thing? What do you know of the Amber Temple? I'm intrigued. I've heard stories about, shall we say, beings that reside there. I've heard stories that they have some sway on this land. What are your thoughts concerning this? Do you know much of the Amber Temple? I'm certain you do. If you are in fact the land, then I suspect you know quite a bit more than we do of these things.
That is true. The Amber Temple, it was built long ago, before I arrived in Barovia, to be a safe haven of sorts. A group of, I don't remember the god, for there's no gods here. A group of priests created this temple to house evil vestiges. They died. The vestiges took over. Other than that, I see no reason to tell you more of it. The Amber Temple is closed. No one can go there. I apologize for my rude words.
No offense taken. I've just heard whispers of some beings of some power there, and was curious about your thoughts about them in particular.
Well, they may be powerful, but They are not for men like you and I. Well, men like you. Ask no more of the Amber Temple, for I won't give you anything else.
I had no mean, by no means been to offend you on the matter if I did.
No, of course not. I am thinking in your best interests. I believe that the Amber Temple would be too dangerous if I told you where it is. Like a small child told not to go to the candy store, I think you would do it anyway.
You might be surprised on that matter, but I can certainly appreciate that you imparted that it is dangerous.
Again, I also do not wish any offense to this question, to that statement. But I do have another question for you. I have heard rumor of a man that has come to Barovia who might be in Vallaki. As the burgomaster, you should know. He has a background of slaughtering the Vistani. I believe he is a threat to innocent people. His name is Rudolf von Richten. He is a half-elf in disguise. If you find him, perhaps you could give me his whereabouts, so I can protect my people.
Of course. I will see what I can do. Rudolf
As-
von Richten. Does that name ring a bell?
I don't think so.
I didn't think so either, but I was making sure. I was just making sure that I hadn't missed something.
You
Yeah,
do
me too.
know. Sorry, you do. You do recognize that name.
Okay.
He's got a saber-tooth tiger.
Oh,
I don't remember if. No, actually, I don't think she told you this. But you do know a half elf in disguise. His name was Rictavio, and
Somebody scared him off.
somebody scared him off.
Such a sneaky cover up.
Me?
But
I would never.
that's essentially what he says. And he sort of turns to Pavu as well and he's like, Sir Pavu, if you hear anything, I imagine if you tell your guards, they'll eventually get back to me.
If you are the land, can you not just whistle him up?
Yes, but there would be no fun in that. No entertainment.
mouse.
Sorry, say that again?
A cat with a mouse, then.
Perhaps. I consider myself a bit larger than a cat, when Rudolf von Richten is not a mouse. Even if you do not trust me, know that von Richten is dangerous. Have you all enjoyed your meal so far?
I have. You've been a gracious host.
Is there anything else I can...
You don't have any water, do you?
Oh, yes, of course, of course. Emmerich, please, get Fitter some water.
Oh, thank you.
A vampire walks off of the ceiling down the wall with a decanter.
Yeah, Fitter kind of.
Arrow,
He
what are
he
you doing with
breathes-
your hands?
As he pours the water, he exhales cold air on your neck.
You get a shiver.
Now,
So
sorry,
I have a quick question.
for Strahd?
Yeah.
Yes, of course, my dear. My son.
How do we get out of here? I got some stuff going on back at home that I'd like to take care of.
Well, I know that you do not. But perhaps in time you could leave here. But at the moment, unfortunately, it's not within my power to let you do so. Your detect thoughts, which is still going, Reven, is like, haha, no, it's not. I could totally do that if I wanted to. I'm still holding my fucking glass like this. Because I'm so used to it.
You gotta have your pinky out though when you're doing it.
It's not easy in this. Anyway. So yeah, he says to you, Corvus, essentially like, that is not something that I can do. Perhaps we could discuss this at a future time. Let us not sully such a wonderful dinner. Something so pleasant with something so bittersweet.
Well, there better be some good dessert. That's all I'm saying.
Is you muttering that under your breath, or
Yeah.
Rabble.
I am glad that we had this dinner. I hope you don't mind. I didn't announce the multiple courses of this dinner because I totally forgot. I do have a dessert course. I have some excellent moonshade ice, shaved ice. I hope you enjoy it. I also, as a offering to Mr. Corvus here, I contacted an old friend of mine, Morgantha, and had her send me some delicious cherry pies.
Oh, good, because my stock was getting low.
You were each given a, this bowl of shaved ice with a sugary syrup on top. Corvus is given a cherry pie. As you guys do or don't eat that, he sort of looks over at
What
Sorry?
flavor? What flavor?
blue.
blue flavor.
Yeah.
Hawaii.
I love blue flavor.
Blue Hawaii here. He keeps sort of glancing at Irina, and Irina is still just stoic faced. And as he's looking at Irina, he says to all of you, perhaps this night is still young. After dinner, could I interest you all in dance?
Certainly.
I have a throne room upstairs that could suffice, and it'll give us a chance to speak more intimately. But before we end this dinner, while we eat these delicious treats, is there any other questions for any of you might have, that any of you might have?
I'm good.
I would like to know why you sent a spawn to try and take my blood.
I forgot about that.
I did not.
Would you accept a impromptu blood test? I was screening you for the Barovian plague. I apologize for the distress. The vampire in question. Well, luckily she was punished by.
Murdered mercilessly.
Yes. You saved me the trouble. Luckily, the others have been much more secretive.
Smoke and mirrors.
Is Riven?
Can Raven? Yeah.
Yeah. Raven, your thought detection is you get glimpses of people in town that in Vallaki who like maybe one guy just sort of nudged into you, and maybe another guy was standing there and Pavu plowed into him. And you see in each of their hands is a similar dagger to the one that pricked Elphaba.
Snaking.
Yeah. Now, is there any last words? That's not my intention. I'm sorry, Fitter. I imagine that is a bit of a trigger for you.
Yeah, Fitter's face would pale.
Just giving him a really abrasive shoulder rub.
If there's
From across the table.
That's right.
if there's no else, perhaps we should dance.
Indeed.
Um,
Milady, if I may have the honor, gesturing to Irina.
I will extend my arm to Valenta.
Yeah, Irina will definitely sort of quickly take Reven's arm once you guys stand up and get ready to go. Valenta, you can see, well, I mean, you can't see her blushing, but you could see, like, her skin get it. Do vampires blush?
they probably could if they.
They could. If,
Yeah.
yeah, they
I mean, they've got blood that they've drunk from.
Maybe it's like blue blush.
That's true. Yeah, bluish blush. Her face gets a little. It looks like a bruise, I imagine.
Oh,
Sexy.
So I'm just gonna move everybody's tokens in kind of a clump for the sake of ease. You're led out to the main hall again. Rahadan sort of meets up with you guys and goes, shall I escort you to the throne room? And Strahd goes, yes, of course. Of course? Of course.
I'm going to step away for just one quick second. I'll
How
be
much
right
wine
back.
did you drink?
I've had like 6 of these orange vanilla Cokes, and I love them.
Those are good. Those are
Yeah.
very good.
Non-alcoholic, unfortunately. So
That's
you
the
guys are
word.
led. You're led up to the room, or to the staircase that Rahadan had descended. This staircase itself is... I can't find the spot. These are massive stairs, rising to a landing 20 feet wide by 40 feet long. I should close you guys. Stone arches support a ceiling covered with frescoes 20 feet overhead. The frescoes depict armored knights on horseback, their finer features faded beyond recognition. Dust floats in the air here, and at the end of the south wall, a staircase rises into darkness. At each end of the dark wall, it actually it doesn't rise into darkness. It rises into a brightly lit throne room. It just sort of assumes that you guys aren't doing this right now.
I'm going to reach out and shove one of the suit's armor as we walk by.
Between the staircases are alcoves, each one containing a standing suit of armor covered with dark stains. Each suit of armor clutches a mace, the business end of which is shaped like a dragon's head. Words engraved on the arches above the suits of armor have been scratched out. Pavu, when you step up, Corvus, you notice Valenta get a massive smile. Pavu, when you step into this square here, I'd like you to make me a dexterity save.
Yes.
+2 for your aura.
Yeah, that is not built in yet.
So a 15 is enough. You hear a audible click as you stand on the pressure plate in front of it, and the mace comes directly down on your head. Luckily, your aura of protection deflects the mace just enough that it swings like inches away from your nose.
I will pull the Lady Valenta out of the way as well.
She goes, "Oh, so brave!" And Strahd, Escher, and Anastasia all kind of laugh and clap. And Strahd says, "I apologize for that. Just a little joke intended to spook visitors."
Did the mace fall to the ground?
No, it's still in the hand.
Is it in a downward position?
It is, yes.
I'm going to reach out and see if it moves.
Like, pull it out of the hand?
I'm going to reach out and give it a gentle pull to see if it'll move at all.
The arm looks like it will rise again, but the mace itself is pretty firmly entrenched in this arm in the hand. You could get the mace out, but you'd have to like destroy the suit of armor to do so.
I'll kind of wiggle it up and down and say, The architecture seems to be lacking.
We will do our best to impress you more next time. You are led up the stairs into a wide hall, which is on a different thing. So I apologize about Castle Ravenloft, because Castle Ravenloft is literally like 6 floors and has about 100 rooms. So finding the exact room is a little tenuous at times.
I'm going to study as we go along sort of the path to things, anything that I see along the way of that's of note.
Sorry, the witch, sorry?
I'm just kind of paying attention to the way, like anything that I can see, like side passages, like just making note of the lay of the land as we go along.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Keeping a mental map.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm keeping note of exits.
Yeah, keeping... So the dim light from this courtyard falls into the Great Hall from the broken glass and iron latticework of a large window in the west wall. This immense room is a place of chilly, brooding darkness. Iron sconces dot the walls, which are fully lit. Again, this assumed that there's not a dance going on. The sconces are full, lighting up hundreds of dust-laden cobwebs draping the hall, hiding the ceiling from view. Directly across from the window stands a set of double doors in the east wall, and farther south a single door also leads from the east wall. Sorry, what was that?
I just said, "Goddamn cat!"
There's a cat! Oh my god.
That's awesome.
At the far southern end of the hall, a large wooden throne stands atop a marble dais. The high-backed throne faces south, away from most of the room. The vampires here, many of them from downstairs, are playing a few instruments. Fitter, you look around, and while you don't see anybody you recognize, someone passes by in a cloak that has a scent very similar to a perfume that Tavisa used to wear.
No.
She goes into these double doors here and closes them behind her.
I'm gonna follow. I'm gonna try to, just head that direction. Not really being stealthy or anything. I'm just gonna walk that way.
Anastasia is right next to the door, and she's going to sort of stand up next to you and say, Mr. Fitter, would you care to dance?
I think I saw someone I know. Go in there.
I don't believe Strahd will be too happy if you were to leave the ballroom. But I remember that girl. I could try and get her to come back.
Yeah, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Yes, of course. Why don't you stay here and I'll go investigate.
Okay. Yeah, I'll step back and wait.
Okay. Pavu, you find Valenta. And
I do.
they're playing a a fairly upbeat song. Many of the other vampires are pairing off and dancing with one another. Irina clings to your arm very tightly, Revan. Her face doesn't really show that she's nervous, but her death grip does. Escher is going to step up to Corvus and say, young man, would you partake an old man with a dance?
Actually, I was going to dance with him, and I grabbed Fitter.
Nope.
We're just gonna out of the
Perhaps another time then. He sort of he moves off into the crowd. Strahd actually strides up to Elphaba.
Uh-oh.
He places a hand out.
Trying to get your host.
I think you were moving towards Zareth at the time. Miss Elphaba, I wanted to give you something. You've been, from what I've heard, you're quite good at the pyromantic magics. I have this scroll of Fireball. I know it is very classic and very cliche, but I don't get a chance to use it that often. Perhaps you would like this?
Perhaps. On one condition.
A condition? Yes, of course.
You call me by my name, which is Elphaba, not Elphaba.
Wait. Say that again?
It's
I didn't hear-
Leviosa, not
It's
Leviosa.
Leviosa.
So wait, it's Elphaba, not Elphaba?
It's
that right?
Elphaba.
Elphaba. Okay. I apologize. I
It's okay.
meant to no disrespect, my lady. I have not seen any of those shows. Elphaba, please accept this gift. And he gives you this scroll. It's, extremely well-made parchment. I don't know if Elphaba would care about that. Man, I'm so sorry. I've done this this is like
It's okay.
I am robot.
and as he gives it to you, his finger grazes yours just gently, very normal. It's a little
Oh,
cold. And he sort of looks over at Revan and Irina dancing. One of the vampires has bumped into Revan, sort of taking your eyes away. And Elphaba, I'd like you to make me a wisdom save.
Okay.
You got this.
Can I charm him somehow? Can I kiss his hand or something? Wisdom save.
Elphaba. Ah.
That's not good.
So you feel slightly different than you expect. You start thinking that Strahd might not be such a bad guy. You are
I'm gonna cast counter spell.
that doesn't work because you don't know that
Darn
you're
it.
casting a spell.
Darn it.
You are enchanted by him. He is not more important than your friends. Your friends are paramount, but he is also a friend to you.
Oh.
Luckily, Corvus, you being very insightful, can instantly see Elphaba's demeanor change. Yeah, it might not even be like a kind of thing. It's more just like less revolted.
So Fitter and I are just gonna dance our way right over to Revan.
I'll let you take lead. I'm watching the doors.
Yeah. He did something to Elphaba. She went all goo-goo eyed.
All right.
He is quite charming.
I'll try to dance our way a little bit closer and cry. Gosh, I can't talk suddenly.
Try to counter charm.
Attempt to counter charm. Yes.
Yes. So you're talking, I guess, or singing along to
Yeah,
the
I'll
music?
sing along to the music.
So during that time, all of the creatures have advantage on saving throws against being frightened or charmed. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Strahd's charm only has one save.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, help us.
Yeah.
But you can
But
continue
it will
the
also
song.
get Irina as well, so she will have advantage if that comes up.
Yes, absolutely. And you can keep that up. I don't think it has any limit.
It
as
doesn't
long as
seem to have so. Yeah.
Yeah, it sort of takes your action, but
And
That's fine.
I will suggest to Irina too that if he asks you to dance, I suggest that you mention that we're together or some such to indicate to him that you're unavailable for dancing.
yes, I was hoping you would say that. Oh, Reven, your arms are so warm, she says a little too loudly.
I will actually make a performance of this dance though.
Yeah, for sure.
Going to wow the room. So I'm going to actually use a performance check voluntarily.
Yeah, for sure.
And actually, hold on a minute. Let me check something real quick. I think Bewitched allows me... No, it's Persuasion.
Yeah, deception,
Damn it.
persuasion.
Alright. Yeah, I will use just performance then. Yep.
18 is pretty good. People are impressed. And by people, I mean the vampires surrounding you.
All the dead things.
I'm
involved.
basically... we're gonna steal center stage on all of this.
Yeah, you're in the center. Everyone's sort of surrounding you, watching
And
you and Irina.
prestidigitation if I can to kind of almost add a spotlight effect.
You can, but it would drop counter charm.
Oh, I didn't know that was concentration.
Well, counter charm is an action every turn.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
Yeah, because as an action, you start that lasts until the end of your next turn.
Fair enough.
Ends at the end of your next turn. So
Gotcha. Well, I can
Yeah.
cast it again. I don't think it requires anything for me to do so.
no, yeah.
All right. So I'll do prestidigitation to do the spotlight effect.
Yeah, people are sort of amazed, clapping along with you. Everyone's kind of like bumping into Pavu and Valenta. Not bumping into you. Definitely not bumping into you, but
Anyone
sort
that
of
bumps into me is getting knocked down.
they kind of move away from you. Valenta, as she's dancing with you, she's taking her nails. She can't reach your shoulders, obviously, so they're kind of just on your breastplate. And you can feel her nails, her claws, sort of dragging down your chest plate.
Yikes.
Meow.
I spend the dance time trying to convince her to take the mask off.
I will take the mask off.
You really want it?
I'm not that kind of girl, you know. I wouldn't just take it off in the middle of the dance hall. Perhaps you'll come back with me to my room.
Perhaps you'll come back to my manor house with me.
Ooh, you have a manor house. I mean, it's not much of a castle. And I don't know if my husband would let me go.
Time, dear, time. Castles may come and go. They may change hands.
If not in my bedroom, then perhaps a dark hallway.
There's an empty buggy out front.
We have a very luxurious movie theater. We can fit in the back.
Marrow.
I will pull her away since the stage is being stolen over behind the throne.
Okay. Like their kind of thing?
Yes. What the hell can I do to get myself out of this?
You can talk the talk, can you walk the walk?
And I will try and use Conquering Presence.
Ooh.
Oh, interesting.
She's gonna make a wisdom save. Okay. She critical fails.
Oh, interesting.
Oh.
The thing is, Valenta has
She's terrified of
yes, terror is one of the emotions she has for you right now.
Run.
She has never been so exhilarated in her life.
Can I perceive this through the eye slits in the mask?
Yes. She is not looking at your face.
The
Uh,
mask, love.
she
Give me the mask.
she kind of whispers, I don't need to take off the mask. My mouth can do all sorts of things. You don't want to know what these teeth can do.
Okay.
But she is terrified of you, and she is going to sort of lift her mask up a little bit. And you see that the skin there is horribly burned. Not even burned, more like a necrotic kind of rotted away burn.
That's gonorrhea
Worse.
Gonorrhea.
of the eyes.
Vampiric gonorrhea.
So she's
I have my gauntlets off. I will let a small amount of divine energy roll across my palm, and say, I may be able to correct that for you, if you wish.
do you do like a half a lay on hands kind of thing?
Yeah, but I just roll the energy across the hand. I don't actually put it on her.
Okay. She recoils a little bit from it, and you see like the light hurts her a little. And not the hurt that she likes. She kind of steps back and she's like, "Oh no, I can't accept that kind of healing. It's not that I don't want to, but I am a vampire."
A shame.
But let us go back to the dance.
Not
Don't-
back to your room, then. And
Well,
I'll,
if we,
I'll let the light play across my hand again.
no, I think I'm okay.
I'm gonna just see if I can take the mask from her without causing a ruckus.
Yeah, I would say that would be a dexterity kind of thing. Like a dex check.
Dex check. I'm really good at those.
She is a vampire and has very good reflexes. She takes a few steps back and says, "I'm sorry, I thought you were someone else."
I imagine you did.
She sort of runs off a little bit, unless you stop her.
I don't.
Yeah, she goes and sort of dashes past Fitter into this side room. And as she dashes through, the doors open again, and Anastasia walks out. And she goes, "I'm so sorry. She was unavailable to come."
Okay, well, okay, okay. I can wait here.
She has gone back to her rest.
Okay. Well, I'll come back another time. Maybe she can talk to me then.
I will make sure that happens.
Okay.
Strahd is going to sort of still talking to Elphaba.
Thank you a little bit.
Is going to say, I have a request of you and your friend Reven. Perhaps you'll join me while I talk to him?
Sure.
He doesn't touch you, but he kind of like puts his hand behind you as if to gesture you forward. He steps next to you, Reven, and you feel a very menacing glare as you are, slow dancing with Irina.
Mm-hmm.
Duke Reven, my friend,
Hi.
could I speak with you for just a moment?
Of course.
If any of your compatriots would join us, I would like to speak with all of them.
All right. I'll gesture to the others.
The other vampires sort of don't notice. They kind of continue dancing. Zeros, Corvus, Fitter, do you guys follow Reven? Reven's sort of gesture?
Yes.
And I will, surreptitiously, as we follow him, I will reenact the counter charm.
For sure. He leads you over to this throne. Words. Easy for me. That faces sort of a blank wall. As he gets next to the wall, he sort of waves his hands in a lazy motion, and the wall opens.
Oh.
Whoa!
And the floor goes
all-
away.
Sorry?
We have white beneath us
Oh,
now.
the
So
map
white.
disappeared.
Especially when
Oh,
you start like flashing pink
all the
and
vampires die.
yellow and
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what happened.
Broken.
Let me
took
try. Let me try just refreshing the map.
I think it was when you turned on dynamic lighting or opened that secret passageway, one of the two.
Yeah, I opened that secret passageway. Did it fix itself?
No,
it
it's still
didn't.
white. It's fine.
It's-
I mean, we still kind of know what's going on.
It's funny because if I go on any other layer, it's still there. How about now?
Yes, that's back to normal.
That's the original, yeah.
All right, sorry about that. I think I messed something up. So he opens the hole in the wall, and sort of gestures all of you to come through into a wide, a very long, narrow hallway that is sort of caked in cobwebs. He guides you only a few feet down to a tower, a sort of a parapet that looks out through arrow slits onto the rest of the castle. He kind of steps away from all of you. Irina is still clutching onto your arm, Reven. And he says, "You've been impressing me ever since you came here, and I have a proposal. I believe that I have a simple job for you. There is a spy. One of my brides is turned traitor. I would like you to help me in determining who it is."
Certainly. Do you have suspicions?
Any of the four. Ludmilla, Escher, Volenta, and Anastasia. Any of them could be giving away my secrets. You've done well in Vallaki and elsewhere in Barovia. I imagine you could speak with them. You've befriended many of them. They might slip up. I bid you to stay in our guest house, or our guest quarters, this evening, and I will allow you free reign through most of my castle. None shall harm you here. You can speak with my brides before sun comes up. Do this, and I will heartily reward you all. Perhaps I could let you leave.
Perhaps you would keep us here.
I mean, I meant more, perhaps that is a acceptable reward. Freedom?
And what if we?
Sorry, say that again?
What if we? I was going to say, what if we don't get the answers that you want?
I will not fault you for that. After all, I cannot find it myself. We will have to discuss a suitable reward for suitable recompense.
What sort of traitorous behavior have you observed? I mean, what sort of information would lead you to believe that the bride in question has betrayed you?
Do you guys mind if we take a quick 5-minute break so I can study my notes?
Not at all.
All right. I'm also gonna run to the washroom. I will be right back.
Be right back, guys.
All
We're
right,
live.
welcome. We're live.
Yep.
Welcome back to Curse of Strahd. We have a winner of our giveaway contest. I will pass it off to Peter here.
Hey, so we rolled a 1D, crazy polyhedral for all the entries we got, and the winner came up as Fane Hernandez, 53, off of, and that is the Twitch handle. So, Fane, if you are watching, shout your information out into the stream. Otherwise, we will.
Maybe not shout it into the chat. Maybe
Well, shout out that it's you. Shout out that it's you, and we get a hold of you.
I can direct.
Otherwise, we'll reach out to you through GG Scrubs and get your contact info and get a package in the mail to you tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow's Monday. Postal works there.
No, not tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's Monday.
Tomorrow's Sunday.
Yeah.
Monday.
Well, technically, for me, tomorrow is Monday because today is 1 a.m. Sunday.
That's true.
we'll get it to you at some point. I'm in Canada and it's Wednesday here, so
It's always Wednesday in Canada.
Canada.
Anyway, hey, thanks for joining the contest, and Fane, congratulations.
Yeah, we will get back to you as soon as we can. You guys were speaking to Strahd in a dark tower. He has said that he believes there is a spy amongst his brides. He tells you, I recently went to a friend of mine. Her name is Madame Eva, a famed fortune teller. She told me that there is a spy among my brides, and I have never known her to be wrong. I do not know the identity of the spy or whom they're reporting to or for what purpose. I've kept close eyes on them, but I've not spotted them acting out of kind. I am not certain who would have the nerve to orchestrate such an operation. I've caught wind of spies in my land before, but this endeavor would be unusually bold of them. Whoever is responsible is capable of powerful magic. Despite my brides being, well, under my thrall, I have not been able to compel them to confess, and I cannot detect any unusual magic on them. This is why I wish your help in rooting out this person.
Sorry. I am gonna look to the party and say, I think we should help him. Seems like he needs some help, and he's our friend. And what do you guys think?
As a gesture of goodwill, certainly will help you.
Sure.
What do you?
Pavu would like to glance over at Elphaba.
Elphaba.
And that seems out of character for her to say.
Because she
And-
never talks.
And see if I can perceive anything strange about her.
Yes, that would be a insight check against his spell DC, which you succeed at. You do indeed notice that is a really weird thing for Elphaba to say. And so much so that you notice a little bit of glaze over her eyes that suggests a magical influence.
Shady.
I will make a note of that, not knowing if the rest of the party picked up on that, but I will stay silent.
People's insight checks don't notice the magic behind it, but you guys all probably notice that's weird.
Yeah.
She drank a lot tonight, so.
Count Strahd, can I ask you a question?
Yes, of course, my...
I saw someone in there that was really brought back some memories. You wouldn't happen to have Tavisa back there, would you?
I must ask you, do you wish to really know this answer? Because I don't believe you would like it. I think it is best for you to pretend it was never asked.
Well, it, it, if it's her, I would like to talk to her. I miss her.
Unfortunately, she does not remember you,
Oh,
nor do
okay.
anyone else of your previous compatriots.
They're here too?
All 4 of them are in my crypt.
Oh,
They wait there until I need them. I will tell
Okay.
Tabitha that you said hello.
okay. Thank you.
Now, the matter of hand. Is there any way I could... Anything you need me to explain about my castle or my brides to help you root out the unbeliever? Unbeliever, that's not the right word. To root out the spy.
Any sort of information that you might have about the sort of information that might have leaked out that would help us to understand the sort of information you're looking for that might be sensitive would be helpful.
While that is very wise, it wouldn't be sensitive information if I gave it out. Besides, like I said, I do not know what information is being leaked. Only that it is. For Madame Eva says it so.
Is there something that perhaps we could inquire about that would be something your brides might know of that perhaps not quite so damning, as it were, and I'll kind of wink at him, that we could perhaps use as a way to pry?
Unfortunately, I cannot think of any such information. Any strange plans, plots, schemes? Let me quickly go on thesaurus.com.
I have a question.
Of course.
When you find out which one it is, what are you going to do to him?
Well, first I would hope that you leave her alive. Or him.
But that, yeah, what are you going to do?
I guess I must ask, is this something you wish to have the answer to?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't have asked you if I didn't want the answer.
Good points. Let me quickly scroll down to the
And that scene.
Is he gonna show snuff porn or something? Like, what's
Best $10 of the week.
I will merely ask her to confess to me what she has done, why she has done it. It really matters what her intentions were. If it was to destroy me, then I must do that to her in kind. Man, I'm bad at fucking words right now. It's so late. I believe that perhaps it is an honest mistake. If it was something innocent, then I would do nothing but a slap on the wrist. If you have more colorful suggestions, I would be all willing to listen.
I'll talk to Pavu. He's the one that's got the good ideas.
Yes, I have a few new ideas from him.
Oh,
Oh, you're muted, Peter.
That's really helpful to know. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
If you would like our help in this matter,
Sorry, say that
we would
again.
if you would like our help in this matter, we would demand safe conduct at any time for the next 24 hours from this castle. Now, before we agree
Absolutely,
or not.
my friend. None of my servants, nor my castle itself, shall harm you. There are creatures here that are not under my control.
What
I
of
will-
you, if I may be so bold?
Sorry, say that again.
What of you? You said your
And
servants.
myself. I am, if not a part of this land. I say the land will not harm you. I shall not. I cannot say no harm will befall you. I've seen you trip downstairs before. But I am not a man to act on bad faith. I shall not be. This is not a trick to harm you. If I wanted to, you would be harmed. No,
Tell
this
him
is.
the truth, Reven.
What's that?
Thank you, Elphaba.
What?
He's telling the truth. I believe him.
As you know, Elphaba is your wisest companion.
She sure is.
No harm will no harm will befall you, and I promise no genie oh well, vampirism is a gift. No, I will not do anything like that. You are safe here.
I appreciate it.
You will have full run. I cannot say full run of my castle, for there are places you should not go, but you will be allowed most of the castle.
And we can leave at any time of our choosing.
Yes, of course.
Why would you want to leave?
The food's good, I hear.
Then certainly we will see what we can find.
Thank you very much. I gratefully appreciate your help.
Of course.
I
It's the
can
least we
tell
could do
you-
for a gracious host.
I can tell you a little of my brides. Ludmilla has been my oldest bride. She was a former Vistana. She lost her Vistana powers when she was turned, but she is smart and beautiful, but dreadfully boring. She continues to find me new, exciting consorts, which keeps her useful. She's often researching her spell books in the study. Volenta is a quiet but willful creature. Her bloodlust impresses me, even at times. She was once a baker's daughter, but she made the journey to Ravenloft and flung herself at my feet, putting herself at my mercy and offering to do anything. She is quite possessive and protective, charming, yet occasionally off-putting way. She's often working on art projects with the butler in the Hall of Bones. Anastasia was the youngest of my vampire Strahd spawn. I don't know much of her life before Ludmilla brought her to Ravenloft, beyond that she was a noblewoman in Vallaki. She is extremely beautiful, loud, but extroverted. I sometimes wish she would be more quiet like Volenta or reserved like Ludmilla. She rarely leaves the dining hall. Finally, Escher. I forgot his name for a moment. He is a bit more sullen than the others. I must admit that I have not been keeping him particularly well entertained, should I say. He is often found in the North Tower, in his quarters. Other than that, there's not much else to know. The dance should be ending soon. I suggest if you have any restless legs that you go and cure them on the dance floor. And I will ensure that Ludmilla or one of Rahaden will guide you to your guest quarters, where you will be safe for the night.
If I may make a suggestion, Count Strahd, if it might be easiest to loosen their tongues if you weren't in evidence.
Of course, you may seek them out in their own rooms. As nocturnal beings, we do not sleep at night. So he sort of looks out the window. It seems to be midnight now. That leaves you 6 hours before sunlight. Though, if you wish, you may stay here as long as you require.
Well, let us see what we can find for you then.
I cannot express how thankful I am. Please know that even just accepting this will give you rewards in my book and in your hands.
I would like to closely examine all of Strahd's clothing and find the most expensive item, and try and identify the most expensive item of adornment he wears. Jewelry.
I like where this is
pin.
going.
Yes. So he has, I would say, very ornate shoulder plates.
No,
Then-
something smaller.
Something smaller. Around
Yep.
his belt, he has some platinum necklaces wrapped around that seem to have blue sapphires dotting them.
Those will do.
Nice.
Do you ask him for that?
No, I sure don't.
Okay. He says, you may explore the castle at will. If a door does not open for you, then do not go in it. Otherwise, if it's open, please make yourself at home. I must
Certainly.
go about my own business. It was excellent to finally meet you. Magnificent, I would say.
It has been a
Uh,
pleasure.
What was the code word you used? Was it
Yeah, marvelous.
magnificent, marvelous. Your magnanimous attitudes were quite charming.
I will
and-
smile very, very wryly at him.
And Mr. Pavu, I thank you for not cutting out the tongue of any of my personal retinue.
It's only midnight.
The night is quite young. The rest of you, I hope you know that Pavu's crimes speak poorly on the rest of you.
I
But
must be in good company then.
perhaps the wine has gone in my head. Gone to my head. Something. I shall depart.
I thank you again for your hospitality, Count Bonzarovich. Perhaps we shall meet again.
Please. We are friends now. Call me Strahd. If there's any other questions you wish to ask me, simply write P.O. Box.
Chicago, Illinois, 60652.
And if you need assistance from my Chamberlain Rahaden, simply say his name. He will arrive.
Rahaden.
Damn it, I gotta find his token now.
You brought this on yourself.
From around the corner, Rahaden steps.
Hey, it worked.
You hear the scream aura around him as he sort of apparates around the corner.
Okay,
Yes.
that's enough.
Fitter, you see his very polite face kind of like twitch just a little bit. He goes, "Very good," and Strahd kind of goes, "Please do not pester him.
Oh no.
He gets cranky after midnight."
Don't feed him after midnight. Got it.
Rahadin goes to the end of the hallway and goes down the stairs. So you guys now have a total freedom in this castle. Essentially, not total freedom, but you guys have some freedoms in this castle. I think this is a good cutoff point since it is quite late, and I am running out of thinky-talky juice.
Thinky-talky.
Strahd will lead you back to the dance floor, and as he does so, his eyes linger just for a moment on Irina, and he says, "If you wish to contact me, simply say my name. I will be there for you." She just looks down at the ground and like, this has been her faith the whole time. Is basically,
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this is a cutoff point.
Excellent.
Thank.
I just like to note I didn't start a fight.
You didn't. I'm
Yeah.
super impressed.
Very well.
Yeah.
I thank you everybody for playing, and thank the guests for joining us. Thanks everyone who joined us for the giveaway. We should be doing more of those again in the future. Hopefully we'll have more entries, though the sooner you enter, the more likely you'll get to win. Well, no, that doesn't make sense. If you enter before we get popular, then you'll have a more chance to win. So
Yeah, we
That's
appreciate
fair.
we appreciate everybody that has participated and continues to participate, and your follows actually do help. I will note we are 2 followers away from having a potential at affiliate status, so if you're enjoying what you're watching, help support us. Follow the stream. It doesn't matter if you're watching via video after the fact. We can always use the follows. We are right on the
Absolutely.
precipice of being able to cross that threshold. So thank you for everybody that watched, everybody that has followed already, and we appreciate the views.
give me one moment. Corey,
Yes.
have you followed us on Twitch?
No.
Okay, we only need one more follower.
Okay, there you go.
There you
Also, follow us on Twitch. We only need one more follower after you. Okay. Thank you and good night.
All right, thanks, gang. See you next week.
Good night.
Yeah.